fully into targeted protein degradation. And that was a much earlier stage research level collaboration. And so we're looking across that whole spectrum. And so, we're not constraining ourselves to any kind of one specific area, but I'd say that, the level of synergy for something that is a later stage asset, it needs to be highly complementary, for a later stage asset, and be able to really to bring to bear the expertise and the significant infrastructure we have built over the last number of years, including our commercial infrastructure. And so I think it's a range of things we're looking at. And as I, said in the prepared remarks, the current market backdrop and the constraints on capital are providing numerous opportunities. And we're highly engaged in many conversations in terms of across the spectrum of business development.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from Michael Schmidt from Guggenheim. Michael, your line is open. Please go ahead.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Just maybe following up on the business development component of this, are there any particular opportunities that you have that you are focusing on or zeroing in on at this time, or is this purely a placeholder for future opportunities? And perhaps talk a bit about the component with Sixth Street that requires the mutual agreement of some around some of these opportunities, and what your alignment is with Sixth Street on that front. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I'll start with the first, and I'll hand it to Mike for the second. Thanks, Michael, for the question. There's nothing imminent, right? There's nothing that we're looking to transact in the very, very near term. Really, for us, how do we continue to in this market, we believe there's going to be a drive towards consolidation, and we believe that we as Blueprint Medicines are positioned exceptionally well to be one of those forces of consolidation. And we think that we can bring assets and technology into the company in a highly accretive way that will, serve both the assets well as drive long-term value for the company. And so this is really a placeholder, but I think it also shows that Sixth Street is very much aligned with our ambition, and that ambition to build the business in such a way. And so I think we have a very strong alignment with Sixth Street, and with that, I'll turn that over to Mike.
Yeah, and Kate touched on it. I think what's most important is the strong alignment with Sixth Street, and what we've agreed to is as we look to access this additional line of credit in the future, that we'll work with them in terms of, making sure that we're all on the same page in terms of the opportunity. But fundamentally, they are bought into the long-term vision of Blueprint. They want to invest alongside of us, and we think this is a great partnership for the long term to help build a leading precision medicine company.
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next question is from Derek Archila from Wells Fargo. Derek, your line is open. Please go ahead.
Hey, good morning. Congrats on the deal, and thanks for taking the questions. Just two quick ones from us. I think I may have missed this, but can you just repeat the mechanism by which the 1.45 times moves to 1.85 times? And I guess you talked about achieving the 1.45 before getting to peak sales, so I don't know if you want to provide any additional color there. And then on the BD front, just following up to the last line of questioning here, you noted there's nothing imminent, but is there something that we should expect to happen maybe in the next 6 to 12 months? Is that a fair assumption? Thanks.
So this
Mike, you want to take the first?
Yeah, thanks. I'll start with the first. So with respect to cap, again, one of the things that we are most excited about this deal is the fact that it is a cap royalty structure, which means as economics revert back to us, and we think that's important in terms of driving the long-term value. The cap initially is set at 1.45 times the initial investment, which is the $250 million. And then basically, if at a certain date that we have not disclosed, but if by a certain date Sixth Street hasn't returned their desired investment, the cap jumps up to 1.85. But importantly, as we look at our forecast and have worked with Sixth Street, we fundamentally feel that we will, it's well within our base case to get to stay at the 1.45 cap. And then that cap, as that relates to peak sales, like a lot of this is just thinking about what the duration is. Like we believe we will reach that cap before downstream 100% of that royalty will come back to us. And so we're very excited about that in terms of both the near-term flexibility it provides to us with this capital, but then the fact that we can retain long-term value in the future as AYVAKIT grows.
And as we mentioned, just to add to that, the 1.85 cap is the maximum exposure we have is incredibly favorable, even in the very unlikely downside scenario, right? And so I think we are exceptionally pleased with the terms here, and again, just feel like the cap structure has really allowed us to retain all the upside in the product. And from a BD perspective, in terms of, can we expect something in the next 6 to 12 months? I mean, we never guide specifically to when a transaction may or may not occur. I mean, as I said, there's nothing, kind of imminent in terms of a transaction that we're pursuing at this moment. But, we certainly are now in a position to very much, take advantage of the current market climate and the opportunities that it presents. And so we're going to continue to engage in these conversations and make sure that if we see something that we think is synergistic, accretive, and value enhancing to Blueprint, that we have that opportunity to bring it in.
Excellent. Thanks. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take our next question, I'll remind everyone, if you would like to ask a question, please press star followed by 1 on your telephone keypad, and please kindly limit yourself to 1 question. Our next question is from Joel Beatty from Baird. Joel, your line is open. Please go ahead.
Hey, congrats on the deals, and thanks for taking the question. What was the recent primary endpoint change in the PIONEER study, and did the 6-week diligence include review of FDA correspondence related to that recent change?
So I'll let Fouad answer what drove it, but just from a diligence perspective, 6-week diligence included review of all of our regulatory correspondence for AYVAKIT. So,
yeah, thank you for the question. As we were approaching in our statistical analysis plan, we started really interacting with the FDA for this specific topic of finalizing it. We have been requested by the FDA to change the primary endpoint that used to be comparison of response rates and to a comparison of means, which was a secondary endpoint. So the former primary endpoint becomes the secondary endpoint or key secondary endpoint, and the key secondary endpoint of comparison of means is now the primary endpoint of PIONEER Part 2 registrational study. Just as a reminder, the study was fully powered for both endpoints, and we don't see any impact on this swap of endpoint on our belief in the outcome of the study.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you please?
Thank you. We have finished the land for any closing remarks.
Thank you, operator, and thanks everyone for taking the time to join us today. Today's $1.25 billion transformative strategic and non-dilutive finance announcement could not be more well-timed to take advantage of the significant opportunities that we have created here at Blueprint and to secure an incredibly attractive cost of capital to accelerate the growth of our business. We have a differentiated profile with 2 revenue-generating products with the near-term potential to expand into a blockbuster opportunity with non-advanced SM, as well as multiple data readouts from our 5 clinical stage medicines targeting prevalent and difficult-to-treat cancers within the next 12 to 18 months. Here at Blueprint, we now have the firepower conviction in a revenue-generating machine that we have to get us to that differentiated and top-tier biopharmaceutical company. So thank you for your continued support, and we look forward to discussing our continued progress with you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for joining today's call. You may now disconnect your lines and have a lovely day.